Okay, so I wanna. What we did online is that, of course, I keep asking a lot of questions,
Yeah.
which I hope you enjoy. Is more what I consider for me to learn
Yeah.
from. I also realize that can get alienating for a lot of people who are not doing comedy. So we asked some people online from
Cool.
our Son of a Beach page if there's any question related to the craft. And Pranav, do we have any?
What would I not do for $1 million?
I feel $1 million is too little right now.
Yeah, it's not a great amount of money. But
Let's stick to million. Let's see.
what would I not do? It's a very
Comedically.
comedically, huh?
You've done improv, you've done music comedy, you've run comedy companies, you've done comedy festivals. You have.
I would no longer do a movie that I wouldn't watch.
That's interesting. Okay. $1 million. All right. $5 million.
I would do No, I'm kidding. $5 million. I would do a movie that I wouldn't watch, but I'd have notes and strong notes about the character.
So, of course, you are available to be purchased. I'm just
Yeah,
finding
for
the
sure,
code.
for sure,
I'm like,
yeah.
it's either 10 or 100. Numbers can go high. I don't have to pay out.
Now, for $30 million, I would do a movie nobody watches. Like, I don't give a fuck who watches this shit. I would do that.
Oh, okay, fair. Awesome.
Instant validation on your jokes is addictive and does it affect?
Oh, actually, can I reframe that question? I find it kind of interesting also. A lot of times you find to get instant validation on your comedy, would I'd write a tweet or like a post
Yeah.
like you put on Instagram, or like let's say the role of social media as far as our comedic validation is concerned comes from either likes, comments, or somebody remembering
Yeah.
that later on. Earlier, it was very staunch decision that you did not want to do social media,
Yeah.
and then you removed that unlearning
Yeah.
and went down this path, which is I am showcasing my life. I don't care. Is
Yeah.
what it seems like.
Yeah.
What was a thing that you did or a tool that you used to remove that or do that unlearning and remove that facade of like social media?
I think, you go through these dips and peaks in a career. And I think by peak 3 and dip 3, I was just like, I just don't care about being cool anymore. I genuinely don't give a fuck anymore. It's fucking exhausting to try and keep up with what's cool. And then coincidentally, not giving a fuck became cool. You know what I mean? With this new generation that came in. But I was just like, this is fucking exhausting. All these clothes and all these people around me, and I don't know what the fuck they do. And these scripts that I cringe reading for ads or brand work, and paid partners. So I was just like, at some point, I'm just like, fuck it, man. Like, this is me, and I'm a work in progress, and I'm a bowl full of flaws. And if you can take that shit, take that shit. And if that shit works for your brand, and turns out it does,
Yeah.
for a lot of brands, that works for me as well.
Do you remember any particular incident moment where like, fuck it, getting comedy validation on stage is very addictive. I enjoy it. And I think I feel the most alive when I'm on stage. I find it very tough to be alive in front of a camera without an operator. That means I would still be funnier. Like Dinkar and I, when we were doing season 7 of Son of a Beach, it was done online.
Yeah.
But because he was at the back on the Zoom call, I was still performing the lines for a human.
Yeah.
So it becomes a little tough when you're like, अपना face ऐसा रख के मैं क्या बोलेगा?
If it's something you don't have to put underwear on for, like, it shouldn't go over a certain level of enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't not have underwear on and be that enthusiastic about something without reeking fake completely.
So you're saying you don't over-invest in a pun?
No.
Have you heard of Son of a Beach?
Yeah, I know. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, bro, I'm in my fucking chappals. I'm not wearing underwear.
Yeah.
The upper half of me is made up right now.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Let's stop this lie.
You do a lot of stuff yourself still, right? Like there's a DIY like spirit to everything you do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Everything. Yeah.
Just like, why is that? Because you easily could choose not to if you wanted to.
So Dinkar's question here, we have actually written that down also. It's just like you have a DIY spirit
Yeah.
and you self-produce a lot of things, including the special in the lockdown that we were discussing.
Yeah.
Let's say even the the web series that I worked
Yeah.
with you on. It's a lot of like, I'll put it, I'll make it, and then I'll sell it.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on this madman wanting to put more money.
I mean, it's not that. Like, yeah, I've lost money on most things that I've ever done. But comedy is madness. And really good comedy, comedy projects, film, stand-up, this and that, the person with the central madness is able to infect everybody with their madness. And they all kind of fall in line with the madness. And the more people you add to an equation who maybe don't get your madness or aren't quite as nuts as you are, they dilute it. Like I view whoever I work with, like, we're just a bunch of insane pirates on a fucking ship. You know what I mean? And maybe we never find the shore. But this,
I am out on the sea with my men.
but this ship is fucking fun. You know?
Understood, yeah. So is that why you self-produce most of your things? Web series, specials, everything included? Or is it waiting on approval? I haven't noticed you waiting on approval to build a show, even in the lockdown. Not in the lockdown, even after 2 Indias when we had met. You're like, I'm working on the next special.
Yeah.
And at that time, the constant conversation was, I don't know who'll buy it, but I'll still put it up, which is that DIY spirit.
Yeah, but I also think you don't need... there are no gatekeepers anymore, man, between us and an audience. Think about that shit. Like, pick an actor you like.
Veer.
Shut up. Okay, Rajkumar Rao. Right, Rajkumar Rao is amazingly talented. Right? If he does a project and it goes well, or if he does a project and it goes badly, it goes badly because of an audience member. Right? Or well because of an audience member. The number of people between him and that audience member is staggering. You know, to mess up his journey to that audience member. You and I don't have that problem anymore. The number of people between you and your audience member is down to maybe the dudes in this room, right? Who can impede or enable your journey to your audience member. You know, so if you start out like I did with a lot of people, like, bro, you don't know what it was like to go to a producer's office, have to get him excited about you, offer you a role that you were wrong for, to go to a big studio that is going to spend 10% of the money that they spend on a big star, to put your tiny fucking standee next to a big standee in a cinema hall where that big star got 10 p.m. shows and you got a 10:45 a.m. show, so that 3 people would come in there and out of 10 newspapers only one of them would review you, all so that they would come and buy tickets to see you do stand-up comedy.
Okay, fair.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you don't know what that's like to go through all of that shit to fucking sell stand-up tickets, which is the end game.
Which is the end game.
Which is the long game at the end of the day. So now to be like, oh, I can just, find you, my audience member, and you buy my ticket, and now I can do some other shit with you and you'll watch it. Fuck that. Why would I bring anybody else into that?
You've gone from B2B to B2C, like in every way.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but sure,
You've gone from B2B, correct me if I'm wrong, business to business. That means Veerdas or Veerdas, the comedian, going to a platform or to a producer and directly trying to sell, so that with the popularity, more audience comes in for your live show. That being the long game, you have skipped all of that. And you've removed all of that with times changes and also with personal, like your own career. You're like, I'm going B2C directly from business, which is you, to the customer, saying that with this ticket money, you will of course get a great time, but also I will have a great time. There is no middleman or woman or others.
भैया ये ट्रेन जा रहा है, अभी आपको चढ़ना है तो आप चढ़ जाओ, जब आपको निकलना है आप निकल जाओ, train chalta rahega. You know what I mean? And driver apune.
And knowing Veerdas, the only time a train has ever stopped is there's a police who has come and is like, Ruko, Ruko! And Veer is out of the back door.
So yeah, that's kind of...
That's a good approach of it.